Hello, everybody, and welcome to We Are Marvel, your one-stop shop for all things Marvel Cinematic Universe. We are your hosts. My name is Justin.
My name is Jeremy.
And welcome to the show. I want to start off by apologizing for the delay in a new episode. I had some personal stuff going on in the real world, and it just couldn't work. Plus, I had 2 other shows to record that week.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, we do apologize for this one kind of being delayed, but
yeah.
it eventually got us to where we wanted to be as far as release-wise, which was putting the movie out the first week of the month.
Yeah, that was generally the original hope. Was our movie of the month would be the first episode of the month. Then we do our 2 special episodes, and then have an off week or space for a WandaVision recap or whatever.
Yeah.
So happy accident, but sorry anyways.
Yeah. We would have liked to have something out for you to listen, but we appreciate you listening anyways, tuning in this week.
Yeah, definitely, and I'm glad to be back. I didn't think it was that long of a wait between episodes. Didn't realize we'd hit the 3-week mark.
Yeah.
And oops.
Yeah.
So without further ado, since we've made you wait long enough, let's get into Iron Man 2.
Let's do it.
It's available on Disney Plus if you have Disney Plus. If not, get it somewhere else. But it's on Disney Plus.
That's right.
Yeah, I think I did too. And I even have it on my Vudu, but it was like, Disney Plus, it's easy.
Yeah, it's right there. Yeah, nice and easy.
Mm-hmm. With the world now aware of his identity as Iron Man, Tony Stark must contend with both his declining health and a vengeful madman with ties to his father's legacy. Boom, boom. I was thinking about this. I think I want to say I saw this for the first time with you.
Oh, really?
I know we saw this together, and it was when you were first dating your wife, who I knew already. But it was the first time I met her as your girlfriend.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, we saw this. I got off work at the place I still work at, which is scary.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And we went and saw this together.
That was a long time ago that this came out.
Yeah, May 7th, 2010.
Wow. Okay.
So
we were definitely dating
running
at
up
the
to
time.
the 11-year anniversary.
Jeez.
Isn't that scary in more than one way?
Yeah, really. Awesome. Okay. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. We were super into these at the time and still
are, obviously.
Yeah, well, yes. Yeah.
This was directed by Jon Favreau, written by Justin Theroux, stars Robert Downey Jr., Gwyneth Paltrow, Don Cheadle making his debut, Scarlett Johansson making her debut, Sam Rockwell, Mickey Rourke, and Mr. Samuel L. Jackson. Released April 26, 2010 at the El Captain Theater and May 7th, 2010 in the U.S., budget of $170 to $200 million with a box office of $623.9 million. Did pretty well.
Yeah, not bad at all. I mean, with the success of the first one and then Thor coming out, it makes sense that would be a very profitable movie. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's we'll get into it, but I mean, it's probably my least favorite of the Iron Mans. Also the one I've probably seen the most times because it's on FX once a week.
Yes. I was going to say, like, I was thinking that last or before, like, everyone has probably seen at least parts of this. I know for me, for sure, this is probably the one I've seen parts of the most.
Yeah. I always see it on FX and I go, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I've seen it before. I get it.
Yeah. I mean,
but I do like it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's still solid. I still enjoy it, but it's everywhere.
Yeah. And we'll get into it when we get into the movie, but it's I think it's underrated, especially now that we've seen the whole story come together.
Yeah.
But, on the list of 20 some odd movies, something has to be at the bottom.
That's fair.
It's pretty close.
Yeah. It's not the bottom. No, for me, it's not the bottom, but.
No, we can talk about that later too.
Yeah.
But I think our bottoms might be the same movie. Probably. And we won't be talking about that one for at least another couple months.
Yep. Sounds like we're on this right page.
Yeah. Immediately following Iron Man's release, Marvel Studios announced that they were developing a sequel with an intended release date of April 30th, 2010. In July 2008, after several months of negotiating, Favreau officially signed on to direct. That same month, Justin Theroux signed on to write the script, which would be based on a story written by Favreau and Downey. So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
Jon Favreau said it was originally his intent to create a film trilogy for Iron Man, with Obadiah Stane becoming Ironmonger during the sequels. After a meeting between Favreau and various comic book writers, including Mark Millar, Stane became the main villain of Iron Man, and Millar argued the Mandarin, whom Favreau originally intended to fill that role, was too fantastical. Favreau concurred, deciding, quote, I look at Mandarin more like how in Star Wars you had the Emperor, but Darth Vader is the guy you want to see fight.
Okay.
Fair enough.
That's fair,
Even though by the time we got to Iron Man 3, we still technically didn't get the Mandarin, and won't until Shang-Chi.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of my biggest annoyances on that one.
Yeah, I mean, and I get it. And that's the thing. After I've watched it several times, I actually understand what I call the twist of Mandarin.
Okay.
Like, with a twist of lemon. Twist of Mandarin. And I like it given that intent.
Okay.
But what this could have been, if the Mandarin was pulling the strings, they could have spectered it and said, I've been the guy doing all of these things to try and screw you over from the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been me the whole time.
Right. And that's what it, yeah. Wasted opportunity. Anyway, in October 2008, Marvel Studios came to an agreement to film Iron Man 2, as well as their next 3 films at Rayleigh Studios in Manhattan Beach, California. A few days later, Don Cheadle was hired to replace Terrence Howard.
Mm-hmm.
On being replaced, Howard stated, quote, there was no explanation. Apparently the contracts that we write and sign aren't worth the paper that they're printed on sometimes. Promises aren't kept, and good faith negotiations aren't always held up. I feel like that's a load of crap.
Yeah, okay.
But
yeah, because I've heard different, but I don't know the details, and it's been so long since it's happened that I forgot about it almost.
And I don't remember, even from our Iron Man episode, exactly the deals of things. But I'd always heard that because Terrence Howard signed on to the movie first, he got a better deal than even Downey.
Oh, okay.
And when they came back for the sequel, they're like, that's not a thing that's going to happen again.
Right.
And Terrence Howard got pissed and walked off.
Okay.
That's what I heard. Whether that's true or not.
Well, I mean, if it is, that he could, take that as, oh, well, we had a good faith agreement and all that. So him saying that, I guess it could, in his eyes, be correct.
Yeah.
His side, their side, there's always multiple sides to a story. But
sure.
I don't know.
He missed out on a great opportunity, but I'm so
Yes.
glad we got Don Cheadle.
Yeah,
because
he's great.
as much as I like Terrence Howard for the most part, Don Cheadle is just amazing.
Yeah, it's not.
And he's getting his own show now, so.
Yeah, he hasn't done anything where it's like, I wish someone else was playing this character.
No,
he's done great. I have no issues. So, yeah. Good job, Don.
Entertainment Weekly stated Favreau did not enjoy working with Howard, often reshooting and cutting his scenes. Howard's publicist said he had a good experience playing the part, while Marvel chose not to comment. As Favreau and Theroux chose to reduce the role, Marvel came to Howard to discuss lowering his salary. Howard was the first actor hired in Iron Man and was paid the largest salary. The publication stated that they were unsure whether Howard's representatives left the project first or if Marvel chose to stop negotiating.
Okay.
So where I read that was several months ago when I did this.
See, that's the problem with you doing these so quickly and so early. You forget what you did.
Well, and I've heard that story for years. Like, I've been saying that to people for 11 years now. So,
yeah, it's fair.
In January 2009, Rourke and Rockwell entered negotiations to play a pair of villains. A few days later, Rockwell confirmed he would take the role and that his character would be Justin Hammer. Paul Bettany confirmed that he would be returning to voice Jarvis, and Marvel entered into early talks with Emily Blunt to play the Black Widow,
Okay.
though she was unable to take the role due to a previous commitment to star in Gulliver's Travels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not the best decision, but I'm glad it worked out that way.
Yeah. Scarlett's amazing as Black Widow. So yeah. Again, I'm fine with it.
Mhm.
And there's still talks that, well, I don't know, the rumor that she could be with her husband and be in the Fantastic Four. I'd love that.
Yeah, and I would prefer that. Like
Yeah.
I like her for the most part, but I don't see her as Black Widow. I think she would make a much better Sue Storm.
Yeah. So make it
Better
happen.
than Jessica Alba. That's for sure.
Yeah. That's rough.
Samuel L. Jackson confirmed that he had been in discussions to reprise the role of Nick Fury from the first film's post-credit scene, but that contract disputes were making a deal difficult. Jackson claimed that, quote, there was a huge kind of negotiation that broke down. I don't know. Maybe I won't be Nick Fury. Right. We know how all that worked out.
Yeah.
In February, Jackson and Marvel came to terms, and he was signed to play the character in up to 9 films. And that was starting in Iron Man 2.
Yeah, right.
Let's see.
Oh, you are going to count.
We got some time. Let's do the math. So we can't count Iron Man.
Okay.
That doesn't count. But Iron Man 2.
Yep.
Let's see. And then he wasn't in... I don't know if Thor counts. Thor and Cap 1. Let's say they count.
Okay.
They're cameos, but they count, I guess.
Sure.
Avengers.
Okay.
Winter Soldier.
Okay.
Age of Ultron is the next one he comes up in.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't show up again until Infinity War, because he's not in anything in Phase 3. Well, until and then Captain Marvel. So and then yeah, and then Far From Home is 9.
Huh.
Interesting.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like it was a lot more.
Yeah. Or maybe it's just because he's in everything else that it seemed like I've seen him in more.
Yeah, because I mean, he wasn't in Iron Man 3 or Thor 2. He wasn't in Guardians, obviously, 1 or 2. He wasn't in Black Panther. He wasn't in Civil War or Doctor Strange or Ragnarok.
Jeez.
Yeah, so, all right. Checks out.
Yeah. All right, we fact-checked ourselves and we are correct as usual.
Ding. Downey and Rourke discussed his part during a roundtable discussion with David Anson at the 2009 Golden Globes, and Rourke met with Favreau and Theroux to discuss the role. Rourke almost dropped out due to Marvel's initial salary offer of $250,000, but the studio raised the offer, and in March, Rourke signed on. Later that same day, Scarlett Johansson signed on to play the Black Widow. Her deal included options for multiple films, including potentially The Avengers.
Ooh. I wonder if she makes it.
I hope so. That would be awesome.
Well,
I mean, you think about it. This was 2010 when this came out. These deals would have had to have been signed, we're talking here 2009.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Avengers was still 2 years away from filming, 3 years away from coming out.
That's fair.
So, I mean...
Yeah. It is exciting times, though. Like, it's where everything's getting slowly built.
Mm-hmm.
And Feige's, like, just, like, putting all the pieces right where they need to go.
Mm-hmm.
So cool.
As ham-fisted as some of the setup was in Iron Man 2, this was super exciting for us.
Yeah.
Seeing, it is happening, even though it still might not have happened, or, could have fallen and crashed and burned.
Yeah.
To us on the outside, it was like, it's happening. They're putting the pieces together, and in 3 years or so, we're getting Avengers.
Yeah. Super exciting.
Yeah.
And it's even fun now going back and watching them again and just seeing like this is where they were introduced and this is how and I know what you're going to end up doing later on and it's cool just to see how they started out and how it has morphed into where they are today. It's cool.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
It's always nice to go back.
I don't know. Phase 1 is great. I mean, there's some turkeys that aren't perfect, but I enjoy all of them.
It's a weird analogy.
Well, I mean,
not all turkeys are perfect, but I enjoy turkeys. It's pretty much what you said.
You ever had a turkey sandwich? It's great. A lot of people rag on Incredible Hulk, but I really like it. A lot of people rag on this, but I really like it. Some people complain about the first Thor movie for some reason. I really like it.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know.
Is it because they were good? And I don't know if you can answer this honestly, but did you like them because they were good, or just because you were so excited for what it meant? I guess it could be a little both. But
it is a little of both. It's tough. Like, I still hold strong that Incredible Hulk is a solid movie. The first Iron Man is indisputed a really solid, great movie.
Yeah.
And I've always loved the first Captain America.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Obviously. I agree that there are things that could be changed, but even like there are moments in, and I can't wait to talk about the first Thor in a month.
Yeah.
The scene between Odin and Loki in the vaults when Loki's trying to get Odin to admit the truth about his past. And Loki has that "tell me" scene. Like, I get goosies just thinking about that scene because Hiddleston is so perfect in that moment. So, I mean, they all have those gems. Even this, watching it last night, I was like, it's not a perfect movie, and there are problems here and there, but all of the pieces for a great movie are there.
Okay.
They did everything. They put everything in this movie that needed to be there to make it great. They just didn't quite get there.
Gotcha.
Because of the Iron Man movie problem, where, like we talked about in the first one, you know, Obadiah Stane kind of goes crazy for no reason, and you don't really care at the end.
Yeah.
Whiplash, you get an idea of why he goes crazy.
Yeah.
But you don't really care at the end, because he says 2 lines during that entire end fight. Good to be back. You lose.
Yeah.
We'll get to it, but
yeah, it was. Yeah, we'll get to it.
Yeah. Principal photography began April 6, 2009 at the Pasadena Masonic Temple. So I'm going to say that, with the working title Rasputin. The bulk of the production took place at Relay Studios, as we talked about earlier. The historic Grand Prix of Monaco action sequence was shot in the parking lot of Downey Studios, with sets constructed in May and filming lasting through June. Permission to film in Monaco prior to the 2009 Monaco Grand Prix had initially been awarded, but was later retracted by Bernie Ecclestone. Jerk. The filmmakers shipped one Rolls-Royce Phantom there and filmed a track sequence in which race cars were later digitally added.
That's fair.
Last little bit before we get to some more stuff. Filming lasted 71 days, and the film's production officially wrapped on July 18th, 2009. A post-credits scene depicting the discovery of a large hammer, wonder what that could be, was filmed on the set of Thor, and some of it was reused in the film. Jon Favreau revealed that the scene was filmed with anamorphic lenses to match Thor and was directed by Kenneth Branagh, who directed Thor. Before we get into this movie, it is time for an official ad break. We'll see you soon. Hello everyone, it's time for a quick ad break. Head on over to Illuminerdy.com. That's spelled ILLUMINERDI.com for all of your nerdy news. They've broken some big MCU scoops and covered so much more. Movies, TV, comics, horror, and, plenty of others. Go visit Illuminerdy.com today. Now on with the show. Welcome back. We didn't go anywhere, and we hope you didn't either. Without much further ado, the notes for this movie went a lot faster than I thought they would.
Oh, good.
But that's fine with me, I guess. Let's get into this movie.
Let's do it.
I actually, back in the day, when these movies were coming out, they would actually make official novelizations of the films. And I have, and I should have grabbed it.
Yeah.
I don't know where it is, but I have the official novelizations of Iron Man 1 and 2.
Okay.
And I read them, and I read the beginning of the Iron Man 2 one before the movie came out. I didn't want to go too far into it because I didn't want to ruin the movie.
That's fair.
But the novel actually goes pretty in-depth onto the relationship of Ivan and Anton Vanko and really sets up that dynamic and that hatred for the Starks.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Yeah, I haven't read it in 11 years, so I don't remember any details, but I remember going into the theater that first time and going, oh, they cut all of that out. Okay.
Yeah.
And that happens. I mean, movie novels add a bunch of stuff that doesn't end up on the cutting room floor.
Yeah, because you don't have a time limit for those.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, well, cut that out because if they're reading pace, it'll last longer than 2 hours and 20 minutes or, whatever. So, yeah.
Yeah, and they have to pad it, just to make for a full novel because it's not like a junior novel where it's, 100 pages or less. This is like full, thick book. But as we teased earlier, and we'll talk about now, I guess, this movie does suffer from what became known as the Marvel villain problem.
Yeah.
Where their villains were just there to be there.
Yeah, just because we needed the good guy to kind of fight against a person.
Yeah.
And so let's make it that person.
Yeah.
And we won't really give him a lot of reasoning. Yeah.
No. I mean, and it is there if you look for it, but you have to want to find it.
Yeah.
And they did the same thing in all 3 Iron Man movies where they used Jarvis to explain what's going on so they don't have to show us.
Yeah, that's true. Well, they kind of showed us with the intro.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They kind of did it. Like, all the pieces are there.
Yeah. Okay.
It just doesn't matter as
much.
much. And that again, that's what bothers me. I think it bothers me more with Iron Man 2 than it does for Iron Man 1.
Okay.
Because you can kind of see why Jeff Bridges is angry and why he's trying to take over the company and trying to kill off Tony so he can, and he is foiled in that because he survives and blah, 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 blah. In this, it's like, okay, well, your dad was a criminal spy for the Russians and he got caught, so he got his ass booted back to Russia.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That does suck, but we need some more.
Yeah, like that's it. That's why you're on this rampage, is because of that.
And it's never talked about again until Monaco. But after that, it's just like, and that scene is great. I mean, we'll get to it, but this came off the heels of The Dark Knight. And I remember seeing the trailers and going, oh, they're going to kind of Jokerize Mickey Rourke's character. And wouldn't that be cool to see him, really conniving and planning and being just this dark, creepy villain?
Yeah. We didn't get
And he is for the first half of the movie.
Yeah.
After Monaco, though, not so much.
Yeah, he's on a computer here and there and a screwdriver and he's got his cockatoo. Yeah. It's just,
I want my bird.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Like, it's not as impressive as the first part where and it was almost a mirror of Tony, where he's in this, not a cave, but in this little apartment that looks pretty run down, and he's building his own quote unquote Iron Man suit just out of the stuff he has. And so that was impressive. It's like, okay, this guy is smart and he's doing the same thing, and Tony did it, so now he's doing it. And then it was, oh, I've got this giant warehouse. This stuff's already done for me. I just have to type in code, and that's it. Like, oh, that's boring.
Well, that's the thing. Like, there's subtext there if you want to dig for it. And I mean, again, I've seen this movie more times than I can count. But if you really want to look at it, I mean, he is pulling the strings the whole time, and he's really screwing with Justin Hammer. He's
Yeah.
very much using him
Oh yeah.
for access to things that he otherwise wouldn't have access to.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is there, but it's just not there.
Yeah, but I mean, even Hammer says it at the beginning. He's like, it's I have the resources.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have the I don't know what he says exactly, but pretty much you have the smarts. Like you know how to do it, but I have the
Mhm.
resources. Like, I have everything you need. So use it. Take whatever you need. Let me know what you need.
Yeah.
So
And since we brought him up, I have it later in my notes, but let's talk about it now. The somewhat disappointment I have in Justin Hammer.
yeah. Well, as for anyone that just watches the movies, that's all they know him as. That's all he was. He was a corporate competitor against Tony. Like they had competing businesses.
Mhm.
The end.
Yeah.
Like, and
he was mad about that because he always played second fiddle
Yeah.
to Tony, kind of, even though he was contracted with the U.S. government and Tony
Right.
wasn't.
Yeah.
But he's incompetent
I know.
all the time,
Yeah.
and I don't get it.
I
Like,
don't
Sam
know.
Rockwell's amazing. When I saw he was in the cast, I was like, oh, this is going to be great. I love him in everything.
Yeah.
In
He's
Green
great.
Mile, like, holy shit. And yeah, they just made him a buffoon. He's supposed to be Tony's equal.
Yeah.
Obviously, Tony's always going to be better because he's the hero. He's got to be better. But especially like the end with the ex-wife bomb bullet thing, and it goes and like it actually almost makes a fart noise when
Yeah.
it fails to do anything, hitting Rourke at the end. And it's like, really?
Yeah.
He's the scary idea that he's making weapons for the government that don't work.
Yeah. I didn't think about that. But yeah. You're right.
Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess everything else worked, but yeah, the one thing that he made,
yeah.
his everything, his Michelangelo has his so and so. He made the whole speech, and yeah, it's like, yeah, that's what happens. And I get the comedy of it, but
Yeah, it's
it also
funny,
sucks.
but if you think about it, it's like, that's dumb.
Yeah. I guess don't think
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. Hey, it's a fun movie. Just trying to think about it.
Yeah. There you go.
So we get the intro of the Stark Expo and the introduction of John Slattery, who I forgot to put in the cast for this movie, is introduced as the new Howard Stark.
Yeah.
Howard was played by the guy from A River Runs Through It in the first one. I don't remember his name.
I don't know. Right.
Okay.
Sorry.
You'd know him if you saw him. It'd be like, oh, it's that guy.
No, I know the face. I just don't know the name.
Yeah. But in this one, he was officially replaced by John Slattery, who would be the new Howard Stark from here forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that they kind of made him like Walt Disney.
They did, yeah.
Yeah, and it was intentional.
Okay.
That was kind of what they were planning, especially with the Stark Expos, kind of like tech Disneyland.
Yeah.
And the big globe is like Epcot.
Yeah.
But he's awesome. Like I'm a Mad Men fan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've watched it or not, but like he's awesome. And him as Howard Stark has just been great for all these years.
Yeah, he's got that. Like he almost looks like he was plucked out of that era and just dropped here. Like he's got the look, the mannerisms, the swagger. Yeah, he's got it all. It's great. He's perfect for that era of film. Yeah.
Well, and all that Mad Men training. I mean, he's not quite Howard Stark in Mad Men, but he does have that. He attempts to have that bravado, even though he's kind of a dope.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, he definitely looks like he could be the dad to Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Like,
is that his dad? Are we sure he's not? Is anyone
pretty sure.
Yeah, he's
if his
great
dad
in that
wasn't
role.
also a famous actor, I would say maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
That's fair.
We talked about this a little bit, but Don Cheadle, and now introduced as Rhodey, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
Best decision the MCU has probably made as far as recasting is gone.
Okay. How many more have they had to do? Well, we just talked about two of them. Technically.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So those two, I didn't even think about the fact that technically, yeah, they recast Howard Stark.
Yeah.
Ruffalo, which was also fantastic.
Yeah. Yes.
And then I want to say Fandral is the character's name that Zachary Levi took his place in Dark World and Ragnarok.
Yeah, you're right.
I think that's it.
Yeah, there's not many. Yeah, I'm sure maybe some small roles here and there, but
Yeah.
for the most part, yeah, it's
Once you sign on that Marvel line, they pretty much lock you in until they kill you off.
yeah. It's impressive that they get so many people. Even the smaller roles, they get them to come back. It's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, having Darcy come back in WandaVision, it's like, wait, what? I knew it was happening, and I was still surprised.
Yeah, it's so cool.
So one of the things I have come to appreciate about Iron Man 2 is the fact that Marvel has almost made a point of making the movie more important.
Mm-hmm.
And the best example of that is Senator Stern.
Yeah, right.
Having him in Winter Soldier say Hail Hydra.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny and awesome just having Gary Shandling in a movie in the first place. May he rest in peace.
Yeah.
But hearing him say Hail Hydra in Winter Soldier immediately made me at least think, so was he trying to get the armor for Hydra?
Yeah.
Or for the government? Or both?
Or I'd say both, yeah. I mean, you couldn't be that obvious and just get it and then give it to Hydra. So it would definitely go to the government. But yeah, how much of that would then all of the blueprints, the what is it when you get something and you try and take it apart to figure out how it was made?
Reverse engineer?
Reverse engineer. Yes, thank you. Well done. To pretty much reverse engineer the suit and then get their own, and yeah. So I would say both, for sure.
Yeah, it'd be a cool. They're doing that animated What If show for Disney Plus, comes out later this year. A cool What If would be, what if Senator Stern had succeeded?
Yeah.
And gotten their hands on the Iron Man suit.
That'd be cool. I'd like to see that. I'd watch that.
And would Hydra have reverse engineered it, and that's how they took over, or tried to take over instead of the helicarriers?
Yeah, I could just see a Hydra symbol on the front.
Mm-hmm.
Red eyes light up instead of the
bunch of black metal Iron Man suits flying around with the Hydra symbol.
They would look kind of badass, actually. I mean, it wouldn't be good for anyone. Any good guy, at least, but that would look badass.
Mm-hmm. It'd be fun for, a half hour in animated form, and then we, reassure ourselves that that's not a thing that ever happened.
That never happened. It was just a dream.
Or was it?
Dun, dun, dun.
That'd be awesome. Disney Plus, you can steal that idea.
Yeah. If you can turn that into...
Just put our names in the background.
I'll take it. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Good thinking. All right. You go on to the next one here?
Sure.
So we got Scarlett Johansson as Justin Missionaries. It was introduced as Natalie Rushman, a.k.a. Natalia Romanoff, a.k.a. Black Widow, a.k.a. And, you put in here that she whoops Happy in the ring and became Sony's assistant. That was great. I love that scene where she wasn't even, she was kind of not looking. He even says, you never take your eye off. And she just catches him by the arm and just does the whole flip move. And everyone's like, oh my God, what the hell?
Holy shit. Well, it's interesting. Yeah. I say it all the time. I would love to see one of these movies not knowing all of the things I know.
Yeah.
Because I'd love to see this not knowing, even at that point in the movie, who she really is.
Yeah.
And what it would be like to be like, oh my God, who is this person? And why did she just flip him on his ass?
Yeah, how did she do that? Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's all reflex. She's not paying attention, and he does a little boop your nose, and she just snabs his wrist, and then flips him on the frickin' mat easily.
Yeah.
And he's upside down and on his back before he even knows what hit him. It's fantastic.
It was. And just the reactions by Tony and Pepper were great. Pepper's was great.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was almost like, what did you guys actually do to make her react like that? Because it was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like, oh my god.
yeah, it was great.
And Tony's line of "I want one" is still one that I use in our group chat like once a week. Every time there's a new toy release,
Yeah.
like, oh, I want one.
Yeah, it was good.
It has some great
No.
moments.
Yeah, good one-liners.
Mm-hmm. Not least of which being Vanko attacking Monaco and the introduction of the Mark V suitcase armor, which
Yeah.
was badass.
It was, yeah.
That was, if I remember correctly, like that was the trailer scene that made you go, oh, holy shit, that's awesome. The collapsible armor that just like emerges and covers his body.
Yeah, yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was even a cool introduction with him walking down and not caring, and just the way the whips come out, and
Mm-hmm.
it was an awesome
The
scene.
electricity surging and snapping, against the railing or whatever, the guard
Yeah,
shit on the side of the track. Like,
yeah, it was awesome.
and he just cuts through the cars, and there's the huge explosion behind them in slow motion's a little cheesy, but it was 2010. What do you do?
Yeah,
But it's such an awesome scene, and it's weird because it's like this movie is fantastic up until the airport with Hammer, and even that scene is cool.
yeah,
But like after that scene, it takes a weird shift that's almost unnoticeable, but it's like it's trying to get to the ending too quick.
Mm. Just kind of rush to the end.
Yeah.
Rush to that final fight, and then
Yeah,
that's
it's
it.
like none of this. Okay, we set everything up. That's all cool and good. We're solid here. We've set up Tony's sick, and Vanko's a badass, and he wants to do his thing. Rockwell's pissed at everybody. Now let's get to the end fight, because that's the only other thing anyone cares about.
Yeah.
I mean, even Feige has even said, and we'll talk about it here in a minute, that he wasn't sure about the War Machine Tony fight in his house.
Okay.
That he thought it was going to be dumb and wouldn't work, and it's arguably one of the best parts of the movie.
Yeah. It was humanizing, I would say, for Tony.
Yeah. And it was a good kind of stepping stone for Rhodey to become War Machine, and the idea of, because the first Iron Man, it's like, I work alone, I do this alone, lone gunslinger, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's a good stepping stone for, okay, now I can have a partner to help me with this. Oh, now I can have a team of heroes that I can help lead, and we can fight a bunch of aliens and a guy with the helmet with horns on it. Like, it gives you that progression to where it makes sense.
All right. Okay. Yeah, you're right. That is fair, because he does say work alone, and then if you were to just have him then go into a team and be like, well, I guess he was just not serious when he says he works alone, or I guess that was then, but what changed? But now we know what changed. We saw the change.
Because I feel like he was the character that needed. He's like Batman. If you do a solo Batman movie, and he fights alone, he works alone, I'm in my cave alone, you have to give a reason why he would be in a Justice League.
Right.
And that reason would be Robin.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so you do a solo Batman movie where he becomes the character. Then you do a sequel where he finds a reason to need Robin to help him. Then you can have him be in a Justice League, because it makes sense that he is accepted. He can't do it all alone all the time.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah.
Thank you. But I do like, and again, we talked about it in earlier, but the idea of, if you can make God bleed, people will stop believing in him.
Yeah. That's a good line.
It was a good line. It was a great line in the trailer, and some people have kind of paralleled that to, like, when Thanos gets that drop of blood in Infinity War.
Yeah.
Like, he's kind of a god, and you made God bleed, so
Yeah.
in theory he can be defeated if you do it right.
Right, yeah. He bleeds just like we do. Like, we just got to find the right way.
Yeah.
Like
It's
he's
a bit of
not
a stretch, but I
unstoppable.
like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it was necessarily planned, but there are a lot of similarities in that scene to the past of Iron Man. Even the way Thanos holds Tony when he's on his knees and he's, coming up to him and he has his hand behind his head. It's very reminiscent of Obadiah Stane in the first one.
Oh yeah.
Like
that's true.
I've seen parallels of that shot and the Infinity War shot, and it's like it's very similar.
They're both bald.
They are both bald.
We're on to something now. Now you got
I knew
me.
it. And it could be fans reaching too much, but I wouldn't put it past the Russos and Marcus and McFeely, who have made the MCU what it is,
Yeah.
in my opinion, for taking those details and making them matter.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, they made Thor: The Dark World important again. We'll get to that. Etching closer to that movie that's close to the bottom of our list.
Yeah.
Or the bottom of our list.
One of the two.
I just wish that they had done something with that line for 3.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
Kind of pulled that string a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's and I think if Favreau had done 3, and I'm not sure why he didn't, I haven't researched that far ahead.
Okay.
I don't even know if that one's mine.
I think so. I'll look where you keep continuing.
Yeah, but it would have been a cool little nugget for 3.
It's yours.
All right. Well, we'll see in a couple months when we get there. But it would have been cool to be like, Vanko showed that you're not indestructible. You're not the invincible Iron Man. You can be taken down. And again, I'm the Mandarin puppet master orchestrating all of this. I figured out how to take you down, and this is it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if you kept the twist of Mandarin,
okay.
Again, I'm fine with. Even if you had Aldrich Killian be the main villain, the guy that is behind the Mandarin.
Yeah.
He could have been the one pulling the strings. Like, if the 10 Rings didn't really exist, or it did, but it wasn't that big a deal, Aldrich could have been the one putting the message through to the 10 Rings to work with Obadiah. He could have been working with Justin Hammer, who then worked with Whiplash, because Vanko gets the tickets for the Grand Prix from someone with a 10 Rings tattoo.
Yeah.
I think that's later on in our Easter eggs.
Yeah.
But I'll say it first here and then again there. And Justin Hammer has a ring on his finger which is supposed to tie him to the 10 Rings.
Okay.
So, like, the 10 Rings was supposed to be this James Bond Spectre, Hydra in the background kind of organization, and it just never happened.
Yeah, there were so many kind of Easter eggs and clues to that, and then it just was like, what was all that for?
Nothing.
Yeah.
I hope they bring it up in Shang-Chi, since the 10 Rings is, part of the title of the movie.
Yeah.
So I hope that they harken back to Iron Man and tie up some of those loose ends. But, like, they even say in Iron Man 3, it was me all along. Like, I am the Mandarin. If they just stretched that just a skosh and been like, it really was me doing everything for this whole trilogy, so much better.
Yeah.
It would have made the whole trilogy better, in my opinion. But what do you do?
What do you do?
Nothing. I already talked about how Hammer's terrible at everything.
Yeah.
So we'll go to the birthday party with War Machine. It's an awesome fight.
It is. It's a great fight, yeah. I forgot how cool it was.
Well, and I like... Tony's just being a jackass. He, obviously he's depressed and he's potentially dying, and so he's, wasted at his party. All understandable. But then he's wearing the suit and he starts firing live rounds basically into the crowd.
Yeah, that was... I know, that was dumb. Like, looking at it, it's like, that's really dangerous. Like, because you're drunk, your aim is not that great. I mean, you might have had some assistance from the suit, but still, like, there's still glass shattering. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a good idea. And of course, you know, nobody actually got hurt from that stuff, but
Yeah.
they probably would have if this was real. And just how is that? It's just not a good idea.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, back in the day, 11 years ago, watching that scene, it was like, oh, that's funny. Oh, he's drunk. He's shooting shit. But as an adult
Yeah.
who hurts himself getting off the couch, it's like you understand Rhodey and Pepper's reaction more.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, he's crossing the line. He's
Yeah.
doing something that could kill somebody
Yeah.
if he's not careful.
Yeah, and for what? Yeah, just because, and for all they know is because he just wants to get drunk at his birthday, like he's being a child.
Yeah, and I don't. Rhodey has an idea of what's happening.
Does he? Okay.
I think because at that point, he had.
Was that after the chess thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because after this, they don't see each other again until the end when he's revealed as War Machine.
That's true. Yeah, that's right.
So I mean, like, Rhodey has an idea that he's going through something.
Yeah, he just thinks that it's being used a lot. He has to find some new source.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't know, like, this is dying. This is pretty much eating through his heart and, all that stuff. Because, he did. Yeah, that's right. He did see the stuff on his neck.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, he doesn't know how serious it is.
Yeah.
Right. So.
But yeah, I mean, the fight is awesome. It looks great.
Yeah.
It's him ending it with screaming into the crowd is an interesting, like, snapping back to reality. Like, oh, this is this fun, cool robot fight, and they use the Robot Rock song, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But him screaming and the fun, happy music stops, and it gets somber again, and he screams into the crowd. It's like, oh shit, like he's having a moment here.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going through something serious.
Yeah, and I wish they had followed through with that more. Because after this, it's like he goes to the donut shop. The Black Widow's revealed to be Black Widow, and Fury comes in. We'll talk about that here in a second. But then it's just like, oh, and then I found a cure, and then it's over, and then we get to the end. Get my new suit, kill Vanko. Credits.
Yeah. Yeah, rush.
Yeah, I don't even have that many more notes in my notes looking here. Like,
because after that it was just kind of a, like you said, it's just a rush to get to that final fight and then end the movie. Yeah, which is
it's
disappointing.
Again, I think like the first one, this movie was 5 minutes away from perfect. If you had just given Vanko that moment at the end, if he just talked throughout the fight about his dad.
And why he's doing all this.
Yeah, and just screamed at Tony like, you killed him, you're the reason he's dead. If your father hadn't done what he did, we would be the millionaires and you would be whatever, like... Yeah. You don't even need to add time, you just need to add words to the things he's doing.
Yeah, like he can talk into their comms, because, there's a lot of shots and all that. But if he can, he hacked into their comms so that they can hear him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just explain.
And he spends most of that last 2-second fight with his helmet off. So, like, he could just be shouting.
Yeah.
Angry things in Russian. I do like, though, that we get a glimpse at the backstory of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the backstory of Howard, and the idea that Howard didn't hate Tony the way Tony always thought.
Yeah.
And that quick blink and you miss it shot of the first issue of Captain America was really nice for me.
Oh, I don't think I saw it.
Yeah, so Fury gives him the big case full of stuff.
Yeah.
When he's looking through it, and I think you even see a little diagram of the Tesseract in there, but I'm not 100% on that. It might have been the arc reactor. But when he opens it and he's shuffling through all the stuff in the case, one of the things is the first issue of Captain America.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I do remember the shield, and it was like that flimsy thing.
Well, yeah, and it's a callback to the first movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if we even talked about it, but you see a digital diagram of it on Tony's desk behind him when he's getting out of the Mark III for the first time.
Okay. think I remember.
When he's up in the contraption and he's all like spread out and they can't
Yeah.
get the suit off him, it's like behind him to his left.
Okay.
That's that shield.
Okay.
They never say why he's building it or what it's for, but
yeah,
because at that point Cap's still on the ice,
Yeah.
presumed dead. So, I don't know.
Is he? Yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
This is around.
Timelines, man.
I know. Well, and that's the MCU has a wacky timeline that you really have to pay attention to get it right. And even if you do, you still might not get it right.
Yeah.
All of and I think I talked about this with Incredible Hulk, but I'll say it again. Iron Man 2, Incredible Hulk, and Thor all happen within about a week of each other.
Yeah, they're super close, yeah.
Yeah, and if you read the comic book tie-in Fury's Big Week, they talk about Fury having to deal with all three of those incidents around the same time. And there's a hint to that at the end of this that we'll get to later.
Okay.
Boop. So, War Machine's big reveal at the expo was awesome.
Yeah, that was cool. I loved it. It just because it's not something we saw before. We've seen sleek Iron Man suit, but him to pop down and just big bulky giant gun on his back, like it looked awesome. Like it is a war machine.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a wearable tank.
Yeah, yeah, essentially.
I mean,
yeah, I loved it. It was cool.
Yeah, I mean, it looked awesome. The hammer drones were pretty cool looking too, and it was a nice way to give Iron Man an army of nameless, bodiless things to kill off.
Yeah, get your action.
As quick as the fight was, that him and War Machine killing all those drones in the wherever they were,
the kill
the
pit
stream with all the water and shit.
Yeah,
it looked amazing.
Yeah, it looked so cool. Yeah, I was so excited for that. I'm pretty sure my. I was gonna say I'm pretty sure my daughter came in at that time, and said that I was watching it with us. I want to say right when that happened, and I was like, yeah, come on. They're just shooting machines. Like, I'm not worried about what you're going to see here. And so she watched it and just was like wide-eyed, like, yeah. And they got done and I was like, that was cool. And she's like, that was really cool. Like, yes, it was really cool. Like, I was excited. And yeah, it was so cool to see.
Let me show you the other 22 movies in this franchise.
Yeah, right. Yeah, for sure. Like, I am excited to go back and watch those in order with her. But yeah, it's just like, yeah, this is what your dad likes. Like, the characters, but like these are the cool scenes. Yeah, it was awesome.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's probably one of the, after Monaco, probably the best scene in the movie. And like that, from a visual standpoint, just like seeing Rhodey's gun just cutting through one of those drones, and you get the close up of his face and the flashing of the bullets on the armor and shit.
Yeah.
Like, it actually is really cool looking.
It is really cool. And then Tony's is one-off thing, and the lasers thing,
which he reuses in Avengers.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, when he did that, that was another thing. We were watching it, and my daughter goes, "Why didn't you just do that from the beginning?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, that's the joke." Like, yeah, so that was cool. Just to see that.
It's a one-off.
Yeah.
You only do it one time.
Oh, man. It was good to see them kind of back together, like
forming the team, starting the friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then Vanko comes in with his mega suit for 10 seconds, and that's it. It's because when they did this movie, they took the character of Whiplash and the character of Crimson Dynamo, and they kind of squished them together and created Ivan Vanko.
Okay.
So the suit is kind of Crimson Dynamo-esque with the Whiplash flourishes. Okay. And I think the name Vanko, even Ivan Vanko, might be a Crimson Dynamo thing. I don't remember. Okay. But again, I don't want to talk it to death, but just say something.
Yeah. I was gonna say, even Tony and Rhodey were talking to each other, so like it's like there's still audio. There's still words being spoken. Why couldn't
Yeah.
Ivan say some?
Yeah, and he's just standing there watching them, and like as Tony's trying to get Rhodey to do the sidekick explosion, Vanko's just looking at them.
Yeah.
He's not even going, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Like he's just angrily looking at them. Like, say a thing. Say anything.
Same thing.
Even like "you lose" is awesome at the end before he blows himself and everything else up, but
Yeah.
you could at least say something. Something about your dad, something about revenge, something about evening the score, something.
Yeah.
But
I'm better than you. My suit's better than yours. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if I go back and watch it again, it's gonna bug me more.
Because of me.
Yeah. Pretty much.
That's fair. I've learned to live with it. I mean, like I said, there's over 20-something movies in this franchise now, with more to come. It's just the one I watch the least.
Right.
Behind my least favorite, which would be, Dark World.
Yeah.
But, you just live with it at this point.
Yeah. That's fair. All right. I guess continue
let's
on
see.
here.
So, skip over the kind of dumb wrap-up ending on the rooftop and all that stuff.
Okay.
We cut to Stark failing his Avengers exam, his audition, and he becomes a consultant.
Yeah, where it was a Iron Man, yes. Tony Stark, no.
Yeah, I remember like my brother and people asking me what that meant, and I went, I don't know. I don't know what that means. I still don't entirely get what that means, and it was kind of pointless.
Well, the way I took it, at least, was the Iron Man suit, yes. Tony Stark
Right.
in the suit, no.
Sure.
Yeah.
And the idea that they just don't trust him enough to be on the team. And I guess this is before any Loki level events have happened.
Mhm.
So they're just trying to form a team in case something like that happens.
Right.
And then when it does, they don't have a choice.
Yeah.
He's on the team whether we want him to be or not.
Yeah. I have a feeling it'll turn out for the best.
Probably. We'll just have to see where it goes. We're only 3 movies into this. We have no idea what's coming next. So
Yeah, who knows where these could go?
I know. Fingers crossed.
I have some good guesses, though.
Yeah, I bet I could get close. Maybe not exactly, but pretty close. There's a ton of Easter eggs in this scene, though.
Okay.
There's a ton of stuff that you could look at, really dissect, and people have a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The obvious ones are there's news footage from Incredible Hulk of the Culver Institute footage.
Mm-hmm.
The lady that's doing the newscast about the Hulk hulking out on the campus
Right.
is on one of the screens.
Okay.
Another one of the screens is the crash site for Thor's hammer. You can see the big ring where it made the impact, and it in the middle. And then behind Tony, there's a map of the world with shield emblems all over it.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Could be Wakanda.
Probably.
And another one is in the middle of the ocean, off, like just away from Africa.
Okay.
And people have been speculating since that scene that is Submariner.
Yeah. Which would go along with what I suggested for a sequel.
I don't know.
In
Go
our
back
episode.
and listen. I don't know. Sequel, bitches.
That's right. Thank you.
Go back and listen to that one if you haven't. It seems to be one of our more popular ones, so maybe you have.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, and again, it's one of those little Easter eggs that still hasn't fully panned out, but it still could.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, and that's one of the things where it's like it is Easter eggs for those that know, and it's something that where if this doesn't pan out, it's not like no one's gonna be, standing there with pitchforks like, you put an emblem in the ocean. Explain it. Yeah.
I mean, I will, but other people probably won't.
Yeah, that's fair. Of course.
Try and get a group together, but we'll see. And the great ending was Senator Stern having to pin a medal on Tony and
Yeah. And the
saying how
line.
annoying a little prick can be.
I love that. Yeah. It's so
He has
good.
better lines than all of Ivan Vanko, except for the racetrack.
Oh, man. That's brutal. But
Fine.
you're not wrong, though.
I don't know.
It's true.
And to wrap up the movie, we get
Yes.
the great stinger, very kind of long and drawn out of Coulson driving into the middle of nowhere in New Mexico,
Yeah.
land of enchantment. We didn't really talk about that scene of Coulson and him saying, "Hey, I gotta fuck off and go to Mexico. See you later."
Is that what he said?
Yeah, that's pretty much what he said. Well, it's funny. I don't know if I have this in my fun facts or anything, but in
Yeah.
like the making of Iron Man 2 and all that stuff,
Yeah.
after Clark Gregg said that line, he was like, "So what's in Mexico?" Like, and Kevin Feige was like, "Oh, you're gonna be in Thor. Did anyone tell you that?" It's like, "Oh, okay, cool."
That's awesome. No, that's not any fun facts. I don't remember that one. That's cool.
Yeah. So that line is essentially how Clark Gregg found out that he was going to be in Thor.
That's a great way to do it, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. I'm sure he didn't do it on purpose, but, like, it's a good way. Like,
Yeah.
hey, we need you to say this. This is the next line. Yeah. Okay. So why did I say that? Oh, yeah, because you're going to be the next one.
Oh, it seems that's kind of like how he found out he was dying too. I mean, like in
Oh,
Avengers,
Okay.
Feige was like, "Oh, it's what happens in this movie is great. What happens to you is what brings the Avengers together." And he was like, "Oh, cool. Wait,
Yeah. That's not
is this
cool.
going to be my last movie?" But he
Yes,
got a TV
but we
show
got-
out
yeah.
of
Yeah, I was
it.
gonna say, yes, your last movie, but you get a TV show.
Yeah.
Quite a few seasons, too. So
Yeah, I mean, it got what, like 7?
I
6 or
think,
7?
yeah, it's high up there.
And he came back for Captain Marvel. So,
Yeah.
Huh.
It all worked out, Clark.
Yeah.
Get over it.
jeez. All right, we're going to trade off some fun facts and Easter eggs for you.
Yeah.
I've been talking a lot. You want to start?
I do. All right, so fun fact number 1 is a massive green screen was constructed at the Sepulveda Dam.
That's why I
Just say
gave
it
you the
fast.
first one.
So yeah, we'll go with Sepulveda Dam to film a portion of the Stark Expo exterior, with the rest either shot at an area high school or added digitally. Now, to construct the green screen, hundreds of shipping containers were stacked, covered in plywood, and plastered, and then painted green. That sounds horrible.
It
would-
worked.
Yeah, totally. It did. I totally believed that that was a real place.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But man, would that suck. Just
Don't want that job.
no. But
At around-
thank you for whoever
Yeah.
did it.
Yeah, no kidding. At around 47 minutes, the photo of Ivan being arrested that Tony Stark views in his research is an actual media photo of Mickey Rourke being arrested on drug charges when he was younger.
He was just preparing for the role all along.
That's right. Deep,
Well done.
deep cover. He really gets invested.
I love it.
Well, like I don't think I have it in here, but he like stayed in a prison for like 2 weeks.
Oh man, that's not surprising
To-
for him.
No, it's
like, yeah,
not.
I
And
could
I
see
mean,
Mickey Rourke doing that.
yeah, definitely. Like, and that's what makes it so depressing that they treated that character that way. It's like
Yeah.
Rourke was ready. He wanted to do it, but
Yeah. I think there's more on Rourke here in a sec. But first, we have Scarlett Johansson dyed her hair red before she even got the part of Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow, because she wanted the role so badly.
Yeah.
Out of the way,
I do
Emily
that.
Blunt. Your hair's not red.
mine already is. Time saver. Boop. A lot of Whiplash's identifying features were suggested by Mickey Rourke. He wanted to perform half of his role in Russian and consulted on the character's tattoos and gold teeth, as well as having a pet cockatoo. In fact, Rourke paid for the bird and the gold teeth out of his own pocket.
It was his bird.
It was my bird.
Hammer's factory is really Elon Musk's SpaceX facility in Hawthorne, California. And the people walking in the background are actually employees. That was cool.
That's cool.
Which kind of explains the... Well, I guess not explains, but the Elon Musk cameo. Like, it
Mhm.
made sense because he's also a very rich person. But
Yeah.
now it's like, oh.
An
and
inventor,
he
like
also-
he's real life Tony Stark, kind of.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
And now his facility was actually in the movie. So, yeah,
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Let's get into some Easter eggs. At around 14 minutes, when first talking with Senator Stern, Tony Stark says he would gladly accept the position of Secretary of Defense. In the comics, Tony Stark actually was appointed Secretary of Defense.
That's funny. It was a funny line in the movie.
Mhm.
At around 22 minutes, according to Jon Favreau, the Asian man who hands Ivanko false papers in order to get to Monaco is a member of the Ten Rings.
Yeah.
Yes, we mentioned that earlier. We're mentioning it again.
Boom.
So yeah, that is cool. I
Twist.
love the tie-ins.
Yeah, and that's what it is in the book.
Mm.
And if you look really closely, you can see a Ten Rings tattoo on his neck.
Okay.
Black Widow's alias of Natalie Rushman, is inspired by Nancy Rushman, a Shield cover identity she has used in the comics.
Yeah, very cool.
Mhm.
I wonder why they didn't just go with Nancy Rushman.
Natalie Rushman? I don't know. Because it's
Alright.
closer to Natalia?
Yeah, it is. Fine.
Okay.
I'll let it have it. Tony Stark. Yes, Tony Stark, also known as Tony Stark.
Or Tony Stank, depending on the movie.
There you go. He requests information of 3 projects which are currently in storage. He says, quote, "Get me everything from projects Pegasus, Exodus, and Goliath."
I don't entirely know what Exodus is, but Pegasus is the facility from the first Avengers movie where the Tesseract is being held. It's also in Captain Marvel. That's the facility that she and Nick Fury go to.
Okay.
And Goliath is, we later find out, Larry Fish's character in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, very cool.
All right, last one. And I added this last second. The kid that Tony saves at the expo is said to be young Peter Parker.
Yeah.
So when the drones start flying off and there's that kid in the Iron Man helmet who holds up his hand and almost gets blown up, that has been kind of retconned to be supposedly Peter Parker.
Yeah, and I like that.
Yeah, I'll
It's-
take that all day.
yeah. It's why not. It makes no difference whether it is or isn't. But it's
No,
it'd be
they
cool
just
if it
never
was.
openly say it on screen.
Yeah.
But it might as well be.
He lands. Hey kid, what's your name? It's Peter Parker, sir. Yeah.
I'm gonna be you when I grow up. Kind of. Well, it's kind of like in Winter Soldier. It's suggested, or not Winter Soldier, in Civil War, it's suggested that the old man carrying Peggy's casket is old Steve.
Yeah.
That's never been confirmed. Never will be confirmed. Probably.
Yeah.
But it's heavily hinted at, even by the Russos, that the guy whose head you see the back of is old Steve.
Yeah. And I say, why not?
But yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Even if it's a load of crap, it makes it so much cooler in my head.
Yes.
And that's why you never see the husband in any of the pictures in Winter Soldier, because it's Steve.
And
Like,
I love it.
yeah, I would not be surprised in the least that the Russos and Marcus and McFeely didn't at least give themselves that padding to be able to make that be true.
Yeah.
Whether they planned it or whatever, like, it was like, let's just eke this door open a little bit so that it could be true.
Yeah.
If that's what we decide to do.
Yeah, I like it. I'm a fan.
Me too. Let's do a podcast about it.
Do you have a name?
Something or Marvel. You are Marvel, I think. Well, that sounds good. That's good enough.
All right. But yeah, that is our Iron Man 2 episode. Thank you guys for listening.
And
was
thank you
fun.
for being patient and waiting for it. Apologies
Yes.
again.
Absolutely. All right. Well, next episode, I do want to mention what that is going to be. That will be my episode.
Mhm.
And what that is how could they have stopped the villain before they started? Now we're gonna go. We decided to do every movie.
Yeah.
Right. We're gonna switch back and forth. So I'll do half. Justin will do half.
Mhm.
And it's gonna be a fun one. We're not gonna be super long-winded or anything super serious, but just like how could they have just stopped the villain just quick?
Yeah, like unplug his batteries or,
Yeah.
realize that he's a horrible monster and just keep him in prison. Like, I don't remember what some of mine are, but
Yeah.
We're doing every single movie back and forth in release order, I think. I don't remember.
I think we decided release order just because it made it easier for us.
Yeah. I think we're doing the opposite of the ones that we're covering.
Yes.
So, like, I'll do Hulk, you'll do Iron Man 2, I do Thor. And yeah, like Jeremy said, it's going to be kind of jokey answers, and we might dive into some deep because we can't help ourselves.
Yeah.
I can't help myself. But it should be fun.
Yeah,
I'm
I think
excited to do it.
Yeah,
That should be out next week, provided all goes according to plan.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, we got anything else for this episode? I think that's it.
I think that is it.
Yeah. We will say if you guys want to get a hold of us, you can email us. We are marvelpod@gmail.com. We got a Facebook, a Twitter, and Instagram. All those are We Are Marvel Pod. So go give us a like, a follow, all that stuff. For anyone that has already, we appreciate it. And
Definitely.
if you can give us a rating or review on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast, it helps us out. So
definitely, it helps us show up in searches, and get us more listens. Tell your friends, family, random people on the street. Shout at them. But be nice.
Yes.
And if you have any suggestions for, our mini episodes, our movies are set in stone because that's the nature of the beast. It's not like my other show, Pod and Gore, available wherever you listen to podcasts. Had to do it. Where we can talk about anything. These movies are all set on what we're going to talk about, but all of our secondary episodes are open.
Yeah, and there's a lot of them.
We know, yeah. So if you have an idea and it's cool enough or not, we'll still do it anyway. Just give us a ring-a-ding.
Yeah. Let us know if you have any ideas.
Yeah. Until then, until next episode.
I've been Jeremy.
And I've been Justin. Thank you very much for listening. Bye.
Bye.